Medusa, the woman they turned into a monster. They remember her as a monster. Snakes for hair, stone for eyes, death in a single glance. But that is not how her story began. Before she was feared, she was worshipped. Her name was Medusa, and once she was human. In the ancient city of Athens, long before marble temples dominated the skyline, there stood a sanctuary dedicated to Athena. It was a place of purity, of silence, of discipline. Medusa served there, not as a priestess chosen by force, but as a woman admired for her beauty and devotion. They say her hair shimmered like sunlight on the sea. They say men traveled miles just to glimpse her. And that is where the tragedy began. Poseidon saw her. The god of the sea did not ask for devotion, he demanded it. One night, when the temple stood quiet and the oil lamps flickered low, the sea god entered sacred ground. What happened inside the temple was never written clearly. Some said it was seduction. Some said it was force. Some said it was an act of defiance against Athena. But the gods do not argue in courts. They punish. Athena did not strike Poseidon. She struck Medusa. Not with lightning, not with fire, but with transformation. Her beautiful hair twisted into serpents. Her skin hardened like stone. Her eyes became mirrors of death. Anyone who looked upon her would turn to marble. She was no longer welcome in temples, no longer welcome among mortals. She was exiled to a cave at the edge of the known world. And that is how legends are rewritten. The victim becomes the villain. The cursed becomes the monster. Travelers who wandered too close never returned. Warriors who sought glory were frozen mid-stride. Kings who believed themselves fearless stood forever as statues in darkness. The cave filled with stone, stone shaped like men, stone shaped like ambition, stone shaped like regret. But here is what they rarely tell. Medusa did not hunt, she hid. Her gaze was not a weapon she chose, it was a prison she carried. Imagine living, knowing that one look could destroy everything. Imagine never being able to meet another's eyes. She became the monster they needed her to be, because monsters are easier than injustice. Years later, a young hero named Perseus was sent to kill her. Not because she attacked a kingdom, not because she waged war, but because a king demanded proof of bravery. Perseus did not look at her. He used reflection, a polished shield, a trick. He entered the cave where silence lived, and in the dim light, surrounded by frozen men who once believed themselves powerful, he found her, sleeping, not roaring, not raging, sleeping. One swift movement ended her life. Her head was severed, her body fell, and from her blood sprang Pegasus, a symbol of freedom. Even in death, she gave birth to something beautiful. Perseus carried her head as a weapon. Even severed, her gaze turned enemies into stone. And eventually, her face was placed upon Athena's shield. The goddess who cursed her now wore her as protection. A monster turned into armor. A tragedy turned into myth. So who was Medusa? A beast born of chaos? Or a woman punished for a god's desire? Ancient Greece feared her, but perhaps they feared something else. The idea that the gods were not just rulers of the sky, but beings capable of cruelty. And sometimes the true horror was not in the snakes. It was in the injustice. In the end, her name survived, not as a priestess, not as a victim, but as a warning. And perhaps that is the cruelest transformation of all.